Good evening, everybody. We'll give it some time to let people log on. It's really dark here. 7 o'clock my time. I know at home it's just about 5. So, sun rises in the east and sets in the west. It's dark, but we'll give it a few minutes to let people log on. And I'm going to update everybody on what I'm up to now, where we're going to go now that I'm in Ontario. So, for one, James Coates, the pastor who's under arrest, and it looks like they're going to keep him remanded into custody for quite a while until he gets his next court appearance. What I want to do now, everybody, is go on with that letter, and this time we're going to the prosecutor's office for the ICC, International Criminal Court. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, it's got no teeth. To be honest, everybody, the entire UN has no real teeth. They don't have any teeth unless those 5 countries, USA, China, Russia, UK, and France, all come together and all ratify any one of the 6 organs. Or, in all those 6 organs, which UNSC is the top one of the 6, they absolutely run the rest of the show. No matter which countries they allow to have oversight over different organs, or when you open up the 6 organs, which UNSC is very limited to just the UNSC. When you open up the other 6 organs, you're going to find many different little branches of all kinds of secondary, tertiary, and on and on and on branches of little departments. The reality here is, everybody, all those different departments of the UN have no real binding authority unless those 5 say they do, because it's absolutely international law, absolutely is established by those 5 countries. And we all know what law is. If you don't have law, you don't have anything on your side. That's how all the other organs run, including the General Assembly. International Criminal Court is the highest court in the world because that court makes a decision and sends it to the binding 5, and they decide, which is true. Any one of the binding 5 says no, worldwide, it's a no. I understand this concept. I'm probably the leading world expert on it at this point. I think it's why I'm going to get a chance when I say that, to get into my next point, is Oxford. I'm invited to write a paper on law. I got to pick my area of international law. They give suggestions, very broad. It's an opportunity for me to get in there. I'm not a great writer. I think a lot of you, my followers, know that. So many of you have reached out to give me a hand. I appreciate that. Several are English majors and English teachers. So don't be offended, everybody. I've already kind of short-listed it down to 2 English teachers. Both have great stats, and I'm probably going to go with those 2, okay? Don't be offended at all. It's just limited time. I have to write between 10,000 and 12,000 words. I also have to have an opening to that. I'm kind of losing my train of thought here, but there's a name for that. I have to have an introductory to the paper. Don't worry, you're all going to get to see it. It's still going to go on to Oxford, but you'll all get to see it. I'll make sure that's published. Generally, they don't publish. If I publish out on Facebook, I won't be selected to go into their book. So there's that too. I'll see what they say when it's ready to go. If they don't publish, you're still going to get it anyway. It doesn't really matter. It sounds like there's about 80 people who are going to enter this. Very great doctorates throughout the world. So I'm no doctorate, so it's a very, very gracious thing to be invited to something like that. So I'm pretty pleased. I'm going to give it a try, and I am going to get the help from you guys to get that done. With Pastor Coates and what's happened here, the challenge I want to do, we're going to get back into that now. The challenge I want to do with ICC is this: have Justin Trudeau, Aaron O'Toole, Jason Kenney, and Rachel Notley investigated for human rights in relation to freedom of movement. And everybody, it's very simple of what this is. They say Pastor Coates belongs in jail for being a local pastor in my hometowns, both of them. I lived on a road called Boundary Road. In my younger days, I went to school in Stony Plain. Upon graduation of grade 9, I went on to Spruce Grove to finish my high school. I was a lifetime Catholic school in the Catholic system. Spruce Grove and Stony Plain, heavy Catholic presence as well as heavy Lutheran presence. Those are the two main religious groups of the town. When I talk about the Church of Life and Pastor Coates, what I'm saying, everybody, is I know my two towns. The post I made is not so much about Pastor Coates. It's about the faith community of those two towns behind him. Where are the people that want to come and hear him speak? They're either Lutheran or Catholicism. Those are the two main breadbasket religions of Stony Plain and Spruce Grove. For a fact, if you don't believe me, go check out the list of schools in both communities. You're going to find that's reality. I grew up in it. I did Sunday schools with neighbors of mine on the Lutheran side, but I was raised Catholic. I went through all of that. I was even an altar boy. I know my towns very, very well, okay? That's why there's a strong push there for Pastor Coates, and people still want to see that go forward. That's why I'm doing it. It's my community. I know it very well. I know that faith side of that community has nothing to do with what he preaches or teaches. It's all about what the community is all about. So I'm not one to take offense. I take things a lot of the time off stride, but you know what? I grew up in Stony Plain and Spruce Grove. I know those communities better than most, because unless you lived there, grew up and lived in it, you wouldn't really know. And it's okay, I get it. People talk about that church and Pastor Coates' group, but I know what the community is, and that's what the community is. And all you have to do is look at the schools. It just shows you how many parents and how many children are in that educational system out there. So it's all good. I get it. Some people get offended. I don't know why. Like I said, my towns, it's people not even talking about, community they ever lived in. They're just going by, they're part of that group. And it's like, I know my towns, and I know the support that's behind James Coates and what he's trying to do. So, what Pastor Coates does and the faith that he puts into his religious practices is not the issue. The issue is, did he spread COVID around by what he was doing? Does he have anything to do? The Church of Life in Spruce Grove, Alberta, did it have anything to do with how the variants came to Canada and how many people died around Canada, and especially variants coming into Alberta? I believe the answer is absolutely no. So why is he in jail, but yet Jason Kenney, Justin Trudeau, and the opposition leaders Aaron O'Toole and Rachel Notley, every single mainstream party, not under the same kind of jailing for absolute freedom of movement, when we all know where the variants came from, why Alberta has the most variants per person per capita, because they had the most freedom of movement from the area where the variants came from per person per capita than any other nation in the world, let alone any region in Canada. Well, that's easy. It's all outlined that between Jason Kenney and Justin Trudeau's narratives through the entire COVID, you can shut it down as of 6 weeks ago, but that didn't change the fact that for an entire year, those politicians did that. The absolute official opposition leaders, federally and provincially for Alberta, said nothing, condemned all religions, all kinds of other charter rights, but they kept freedom of movement, which was the absolute way COVID came here, absolutely proven where the variants come from, was kept up all the way to near the end of December of 2020, just little under 2 months ago. How are you going to justify that and say that that's not a criminal act against the people of Canada, specifically more so for the people of Alberta, but a pastor preaching religion who didn't utilize freedom of movement? He stayed within his faith community. Why is he in jail, throwing away the key? Many are not, and especially our politicians who are absolutely 100% responsible for all the variants and all of the COVID-19 getting into Canada. Literally. The exhibits are here, everybody. Literally hundreds of exhibits. Well, all the major world powers shut it all down, besides one that Canada's grossly attached to, beyond what's supposed to be legal in this world today. And our politicians went against the law of sovereignty, in fact gave away our sovereignty, embraced that against another binding nation of the world, knowing that we're in a pandemic, globally ruled pandemic, brought all the COVID, all the variants in. They're not in jail, but a pastor preaching religion and faith in a community of faith is in jail as an example under no real criminal code. What does that all tell you? This isn't about what's right or wrong or who did the worst. It's about human rights. If you're going to say this person belongs in jail because they violated laws, well, what laws? Show me the international laws, and if that's the case, which it may very well be, then so is freedom of movement, because that was ruled against humanity on freedom of movement. That was ruled the same way, and those countries adopted that. Almost all the countries of the world did to some degree, but not Canada and not Canada's politicians. They wanted to increase immigration, increase many people from Hong Kong to Canada, even jumping queue. They said that was normal. How is that normal in a pandemic when thousands and thousands of Canadians died? Who killed all the Canadians? Where did COVID come from? Where did the variants come from? Who brought them here? Your government did. That's what we have to get to the ICC. Now, ICC, like many other UN organizations, only has authority when all 5 countries say it has authority. That's the world. It's been the world since the end of World War II. I'm going to be writing this paper. A lot of you, my followers, know what I talk about, but now we're going to get that to Oxford before month's end. I'm going to make sure that's in. A one-of-a-kind paper no one's ever bothered to write ever. Maybe I'm fortunate if they select it. Maybe I am, but I think it's important and the world should know. Even if I'm not selected, you're all going to get a copy of it, and you're all going to get to read it. The other part of what's going on is that now that I'm in Ontario, today I got to meet everybody in orientation. I got lots of, mostly men, because it's a trade and it's a nuclear plant. We got lots of men here, and I got people from every province here, and I talked to guys from Winnipeg, so they're absolutely going to sign on. And we got New Brunswick, we got Nova Scotia, and Ontario. So I'm going to get those sign-up sheets done. I'm going to cover all the provinces I need. I still will have to go to Quebec, and I'm going to have to still tour Ontario. But the more provinces we get, the better. And it's all positive. Canadian Constitutionalist Party. It's coming, guys. I'm going to get it done. I always get things done. What I say I'm going to do, I do it. And I'm living proof of that as I sit here in Ontario. And I've got this job at the nuclear plant, and I'm going to get it done. From there, we'll go into EDAs and all of it. And we'll have all kinds of things done. You'll see the party board. The party's going to remain in Edmonton, even though I will travel back and forth. I'm going to be here for several months before I do that. Look for me to come back to Edmonton, Alberta in May. I'll take some time off, my daughter's birthday, and I'll be there to hook up with everybody. And I think by that time we will be officially announcing the Canadian Constitutionalist Party, or at least very, very close to it, or at least in the process of the registration with Elections Canada. That's where I see us in May. So that's my video today. Get it shared out, everybody. Share, share, share. Important stuff here. Like I said, nothing has teeth unless the five say it has teeth. We watched International Criminal Court, one prosecutor get just decimated by Donald Trump. That has actually hurt this James Coates presentation, because I promise you, had we had the African prosecutor, she likely would have taken the case. But Donald Trump had serious sanctions and personal attacks placed on her. It's insane. The more things are coming to light post Donald Trump, it's really upsetting me. It seems like December Donald Trump broke. He went unconstitutional in the U.S. I said that before. A lot of people don't want to hear that. But more and more, it's really coming out that he was turning into a tyrant. And I don't know why. I don't know where that came from. Did they break him in November? Was that the straw that broke the back? Or, is he just that kind of president and it came to light? I don't know. It's disappointing for sure. I know he ruined me with UNSC with Kelly Knight Craft, and she's on my Twitter, and I mean, she wasn't able to sit for our reading of our last letter, and post that we're friends now. But that's how presidents can be. What will Joe Biden be like? I don't know. I guess we're going to find out. We're going to see what happens with this new prosecutor who's from the UK. That's a little bit troublesome. I'm not accusing the UK of anything, but they did freedom of movement too. So my issue is going to be, can we trust a prosecutor trying to go against Canadians, politicians who did freedom of movement when UK did it too? It's hard to say, and then sometimes you wonder, how fair is the world we live in? I don't know. All we can do is try. I know the other prosecutor, their office has said, nope, we're not taking any more cases. They're on their last case. She's out here in June, which is too bad. She was lead prosecutor for the International Criminal Court for many years. Did a really good job, and she started sniffing around the USA, and they smacked her down, which is a little strange for me considering the US is a binding 5 member. That's why I don't know why Donald Trump would respond that way, but he did, and it is what it is, I guess. So thanks everybody. That's my video tonight. I'm still pretty tired as I adjust to the time change, and I'm still trying to get used to my driving. Have to balance how much I write a night too and give that time. So we're going to leave this video as that. Share, share, share. We're not done yet. We're going to go through all of it and see where we get. Bye now.